I'm reviewing Cuckoo. Cuckoo is a new horror thriller from Neon and Tillman Singer, and it is in theaters right now. It is directed by Tillman Singer, and it stars Hunter Schafer, Dan Stevens, and Jessica Henwick. I'm gonna keep this review as spoiler-free as possible so I don't ruin the film for you if you do decide to see it. An American teenager moves to the German Alps with her father, stepmother, and stepsister. While there, she gets a job working at the local resort. Basically, it's like a community all in one where they have like bungalows. They even have a hospital. Her parents, or father and stepmother, are apparently there to build a new resort. If you aren't familiar with Tillman Singer, he also wrote and directed 2018's Loose. It is L-U-Z, and it is on SHUDDER if you would like to check it out. And I definitely recommend checking it out because it was a film that when I saw it kind of blew my mind because it feels like it came out of nowhere and I loved it. He writes it and directs it, and he knows exactly what he wants and what he wants to put on screen. And that is amazing to me. I've seen a lot of talk about this film, and I have friends who had already seen it, and they have said that it was an excellent film. And I actually avoided the trailers for this film because I did want to go in without seeing anything. Not knowing anything about this film is probably the way to go. I'm going to be as vague as possible so that I don't give anything away. The cinematography of this film is stunning. This film was shot on 35mm. I'm not one of those people who thinks that you need to shoot on film because, but wow, it really did give it a different feel. It's almost so beautiful that sometimes it just looks absolutely fake. Maybe the digital stuff just feels flat compared to this. I'm not certain, but I will tell you that there is something about the look of this film that captivated me. And in addition to that, the environment that they find themselves in works so well with the cinematography. The establishing shots were really beautiful. The incredible use of shadows, what is in your periphery or in the background, was done to perfection. The lighting, awesome. In conjunction with that, I totally think Tillman Singer knows how to scare people. He can take a simple situation or a simple thing happening, or maybe something that really shouldn't be scary, and make it scary. When I heard that this was from him, I got very excited, but I also wanted to temper my expectations. And I will tell you that this film exceeded my expectations. I'm so happy. I left the theater with a huge smile on my face because it was so good. Now, a big, huge standout for this film is the acting. Every single actor in this film is superb. Not just good, not just great, but superb. Hunter, she killed it in this role. Like, she is the perfect blend of a teenager, as awkward and uncomfortable, and she really makes you feel like she's out of place, and that's how she should feel at this time. You can't keep a good Dan Stevens down. I believe this is his best performance of this year, and he's had some great ones. With Abigail, I loved him in Abigail. I think he is far better in this as this creepy, and he basically owns and runs the resort and is funding, them making the next resort. And he is creepy and smarmy, and like, there's just one scene, this is not gonna give anything away, where he touches her on the shoulder, and it is like, don't touch me. It was very well done and very successful. And let's be honest, like, Dan Stevens isn't exactly a creepy guy, so it was partially his acting and the way it was shot, very creepy. Now, I've said the cinematography is fabulous. The acting is phenomenal. And guess what? The story is equally as good. It is a completely unique concept, having enough exposition and showing enough to where you get the story and it's not shoved down your throat. There is an absolute mystery here, so them calling it a thriller is absolutely warranted. And the lead is trying to figure out what is happening at this resort. What is going on, and how is her family involved in this? Or are they involved in it? I don't know. Gotta watch the movie to find out. And there are so many weird elements to this. The film did not go in the direction that I anticipated at all. It doesn't resemble anything that we've seen completely. It takes maybe little elements, but then also throws a completely new spin on it. I loved the concept of this. And Dan Stevens' creepiness totally plays into that. Shockingly, again, I also feel like we have another neurodivergent character here. She makes some very interesting choices in her acting, where it totally says that she is like on the spectrum to me. And yes, obviously I'm doing that on purpose because it's a thing. It's totally a thing, the little alligator arms thing. And I know a lot of neurodivergents, such as myself, have asked for, more characters on screen, and we have them now, and played in such a way that I am really happy with. She's not very good socially. She's kind of awkward, but the neurodivergence also gives her a maturity that someone of 17 probably wouldn't usually or normally have at that age. So she is not an annoying teenager in any way, shape, or form. And the stepsister is also not annoying. As a neurodivergent character, it also helped her react in certain situations, in certain ways, and made for some comedic moments because typically, and not always, indies are not so great at reading the room. And she points out something that is very obvious, but it seems like only she is the one that notices, and that's unusual, I'm sure, for her. Like, why am I the only person that's seeing this? Hello? So, very successfully done all across the board with that. I think the way the character is written, and I think the choices that the actor made as the character, because I can't be certain if the character was written to be like this or if she decided to make that choice, which I think either way, it was a very good decision. There's a whole mythos here that we could dive into, which would be very fun, but no, let me tell you the craziest thing about this creature. When you see something that should not be scary at all, maybe it's even a little bit silly, maybe it's kind of ridiculous, but you see it on the screen and the way it's shot and the way it's presented is downright spooky. Yeah, that's what this is. I was like, why is this so scary to me? Why is this bothering me so much? Yeah, it just proves to me that you get the right filmmaker and they can take something and make it way scarier than others. And that's awesome. Okay, as far as gore goes, there is some body horror elements to this. There's definitely someone that takes a beating and keeps on going and takes a beating and keeps on going. There is some stapling in the head that is really good looking, y'all. It was so good looking. I mean, I would be upset if a hospital staff, did my wound up like that because you'd be having a horrible scar, but it looked sick. It looked really good. So I was very thrilled with that. There's a lot of red and a lot of blood. And one character gets really hurt and the swelling in the face looks so good. So there's not a ton of gore, but what gore there is looks super good. This also has excellent sound, and sound plays a very important role in this film, as you will come to see. It accentuates but doesn't take away. It wasn't too blaring, wasn't too loud. It had a very creepy kind of element to it. It makes me feel a little crazy because I've seen that people have not liked this film at all. There are some films I can look at and go, yeah, I like it, but I know it's bad. I know I like some bad stuff. I can even look at a film and go, I really liked it, but I could see even just bad elements that people would not find good. I don't understand that with this film. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I really enjoyed the entire film. So many elements of the film. There's I guess if I wanted to nitpick things about it, I could. But honestly, man, this film was delightful. Maybe tonally, some people might think it's odd because it's pretty serious, but then it does have some comedy. And, you know, Dan Stevens can be really funny. I mean, I just look at him and laugh. But he was also super creepy. So maybe tonally, but not to the degree of anything like Trap or anything like that, where it's harder to distinguish the tone of the film. You know, it's okay to have a serious movie and then have a laugh or two. It doesn't have to all be campy, y'all. This will absolutely be in my top 10. It might be in my top 5. I mean, we still have several months to go. It's been hit or miss for horror for me this year, but what has been good has been exceptionally good, in my opinion. So that's exciting. It's not common for me to say that I would recommend a film to all of my horror-loving friends, but I have to say that I would definitely recommend this film to all of my horror-loving friends. It's that good. It's almost September, so we only have a few more months left in the year. What film are you most looking forward to? Have you seen Loose by the same director, Tillman Singer? And are you planning on seeing Cuckoo? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I really do hope that you have the most amazing day, my spooky darlings. I would like to give a big, wonderful thank you to my Patreon members. Truly, thank you so much for supporting me and supporting the channel. Chris Miziktino, Jimmy Horror, Eddie, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, Nikki B, and Deal Demon. Cuckoo. I don't want to. This is so hard not to give anything away. That's awesome.